All right, time for another episode of Riding Shotgun with Tommy Mac. I'm at Fields Cadillac in St. Augustine, down at the Outlet Mall in front of this beautiful Escalade. We're going to take a ride in just a little bit. Listen, you see my shirt, right? The Jags aren't having a good year, but I still love them. I'll always be an original Jag, and I'll always pull for our team. Now, most of you know I love football. I love sports in general, but my number two love is music, man. That's why I play in a little cover band here on this side, but man, I love music and what it does for us. And tonight we got a special guest. This guy, he's a composer, he's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a bass player for many bands, including one of my favorite bands, Puddle of Mudd. And he's gonna come in, he's in the construction world too. We're gonna talk about it all in the car and right here with Damien Starky. Let's welcome him in to the show. Damien, my man.
What's up, man?
All right, good to see you
brother?
again. How's
Yeah.
life treating you?
Oh, man, can't complain.
I appreciate you making the time to be on the show, brother.
Oh, love it, man.
We have a good time in the car. Of course, Fields Cadillac does a great job with these great cars. But, man, you've had a great career in music. So just a little snippet of organ, a little taste. What's it like playing in front of a massive crowd? Give it to me in like one sentence if you can.
The most amazing thing in the world.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. It
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
is the most amazing thing in the world. Cool. We're going to get into it. You ready to go for a ride?
Let's go.
All right.
I'm riding shotgun.
Yes, you are. All right, my man. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Beautiful. All right, we'll start it off. All right, everybody, welcome in another episode of Riding Shotgun with Tommy Mac. Your host, Tom McMahon, is here with Damien Starky, singer, songwriter, composer, rock and roll badass, been with so many great bands. And we met on the set of The Horse's Mouth, my other show. And
yeah, man.
That was a fun time. We talked about
was
World
a blast.
Construction, your
Yeah,
business, and then after we got done, I found out, oh yeah, I was the bass player for Puddle of Mudd, one of my favorite bands, man. I love Puddle of
thanks,
Mudd.
man.
Great to have you on the show, brother.
Yeah, dude,
that was
thanks
a
for
long
having me.
introduction, wasn't it?
Hey, man, I'll take it.
Absolutely. So I saw you are you from Cincinnati, but then moved to Jacksonville when you were a young kid, right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Ohio,
I
pretty
was
much?
born. Yeah, I was
Born
born in Cincinnati. I moved here when I was 2, so I mean,
Okay.
I claim Jacksonville. I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
Jacksonville boy
You're a
through
native.
and through. Yeah.
And you
yeah.
picked up the guitar early.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
gave it? Who got it in your hands?
Well, actually, my dad. I kind of grew up in a house where people were always playing music, and my
Okay.
dad taught me how to play.
Yep.
He was a singer, guitar player,
Cool.
bass player, all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
kind of picked it up at a, somewhat early age, and then, that's it.
That is
Yeah.
unbelievable,
Yeah.
man. That is one thing, and I know it's never too late to try, but that is one thing, man. I just can't get down is playing any kind of instrument. I tell you what I'm good at, though, Damien, air instruments, piano included.
slay it, air guitar.
Yeah. Guitar, piano, drums, you name it.
I love it.
Absolutely.
That's
All right,
good.
so you're out of Englewood High School. Now, I did not know that. I do my research, but I did not know that. And look, Brett Myers, who you're good
Yeah.
friends with, you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
jammed
absolutely.
together with his band, and
Absolutely, yeah.
of course Daniel Murphy, who we had on, a
Yep.
great all-star, and
Yeah.
and here we are, more talent coming out of Englewood, man.
That's
Pretty
it,
cool.
man. Apparently, we were breeding them in the 90s over there.
I tell you what, and you were an athlete, or still are. Once you're an athlete, you're always an
Yeah,
athlete.
yeah, absolutely.
But you were
No.
playing sports while you were playing
Yeah,
music until it
absolutely.
got real serious, right?
Yeah, basically up until my senior year, I was always
High
playing
school
sports. I mean,
senior year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, from the time I was 5 until all the way through then. So yeah.
All right, tell me about Burn Season. That was the first success for you. You and Bobby, now lead singer Saliva, of course.
Yeah.
You guys had a band. He was a couple years older than you, is that right? Like 17, 15, or about the same age?
No, he's actually a year younger than me.
Younger than you, okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
Funny side fact, actually, Bobby and I both have sons, and Bobby and I are a year and 3 days apart, and our sons are a year and 3 days apart.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I don't know how we synced that up.
So cool. So is Bobby Inglewood as well?
No, Bobby went to Lee, actually.
He went to Lee High School.
Sure did.
You know, people don't, I mean, I think people would realize how much talent comes out of Jacksonville in the music world.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, of course,
Absolutely.
Skynyrd, everyone knows Skynyrd, but you go to even all that Southern rock, of course, Limp Bizkit, what you guys did, I mean, you and so many other people, and there's a lot of musical talent out of Jacksonville.
Cold, red jumpsuit,
Cold, yes.
Yellow Card.
Yes.
Shinedown started
here.
here.
Shinedown.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great bands that came from here for sure.
So all right, so we'll go back and forth, but let me ask you this, man, because when I hear your music, like take Puddle of Mudd, that to me, like that was so like invigorating. I worked out to it, I ran sprints to it. It always gave me great like motivation. When you're putting those songs together, you thinking about that, or you just like, man, I just want to put a great song together? Do you think about the potential impact at all, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you think about, because every type of song's got, its own vibe, it's got its own energy. If you're trying to, do a song that's whatever, more upbeat and more heavy and rocking and that kind of thing, because you're trying to make crowds bounce up and down, it's obviously a lot different than if you're trying to do some more ballad type thing, you know what I mean? So it just depends on what your intentions are, but I always come from the school of thought of, look, man, I want to make people feel something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever that is, whether that's I want to be pissed off and I'm in the gym and let's go. Or, it's the, man, oh, God, I know what he was, what he was thinking when he wrote that, you know what I mean?
It's so emotional.
Yeah, if you can write something that people relate to, then God, man, there's nothing really better in the world than that,
All right, so the writing, did it come naturally to you, Damien? Like, you write a ton of stuff now, I know. What did it come naturally at a young age? Were you putting together poetry?
Yeah.
Like, what was your...
Yeah, no, it did, but I still think it's a learned skill. I've also had some good mentors in my life, worked with some great producers. Bob Marlette was a big one for us, that especially when I was really young, like 18 when I worked with him, and he had worked with all kinds of Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He did Shinedown and Seether and a ton of bands. I mean, he just does so much stuff, but it is a learned skill too. It's like something that you get better at over time. It takes elbow grease. It takes tenacity, you know what I mean, to dig in and get better at writing, in my opinion.
What comes first, the music or the lyrics for a writer? Does it depend on the song, I guess?
For me, it totally just depends, because sometimes you might have a riff that you think is good and you want to write to it.
Got you.
And then sometimes, you might just have a line that you're like, blah, 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 and da-da-da-da, and you're like, oh, man, like that's a hook. Like, I need to write something around that. So it just depends on... I think inspiration can kind of come from a lot of places.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get more inspired by just whatever. I mean, shoot, I might be listening to talk radio or something, and somebody just says something, and I'm like, ooh,
right,
that's really good, man.
Yeah.
And I'll write it down, or I'll make a voice note or something. I'm like, dude, that's a hook right there.
Absolutely.
Because that's really what all the best hooks really are, is when they say something in a certain way to where it's the most relatable, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
It. Or if it's something that people kind of say all the time that they don't even realize how much it's like a part of culture or whatever, and then you grab that and make a hook out of it.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, so 17 years old, you signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Elektra with Burn Season.
Yeah.
I mean, 17, you're like NIL money.
I was 18.
You're way before your, or 18, way before your
your
time, right? You get NIL money for music. But what was that like, brother? I mean, that must have been pretty awesome. Just to get a deal.
In a lot of ways, it was, there was so much awesome music coming out of Jacksonville at that time.
Yeah.
And when I was 16, I met Matt Pinfield, who I'm sure a lot of people know him, but, VH1, MTV, did 120 Minutes, did all kinds of, still to this day does lots of stuff. And I met him when I was 16
Okay.
He was actually here. His in-laws lived here.
Okay.
He was in town laying down on their couch, and Native Noise came on, which was like the local band radio show on Planet
Okay.
Radio.
Yep.
He heard our band on the radio, called the station, got our number. He actually called Bobby's house
Okay.
and left a message. And so Bobby gets home from school and literally has like, "Hey, this is Matt Pinfield. Oh man, dude, I'd love to meet up with you guys while I'm in town," or whatever. Of course, we totally freaked out. So Matt helped us tremendously, and he got us an attorney, and he really kind of started spreading the word out there and some of those things, and and also at that time, we were building a following. We'd started to become popular around town, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So
talk about the music out of this town back then. Like you had Limp, of course, Biscuit.
Yeah, Biscuit was huge. Cold.
Cold was huge.
Love Cold.
Yeah.
Scooter's a great friend.
Absolutely.
Also right around that time too. Mentioned
bass player for Cold. I knew him. John Wade. You know
John
Wade?
Jeremy Marshall was bass player for Cold. Yeah, great dude.
He had the dreadlocks, right?
Yeah,
I remember him, man.
Great dude.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there was so much just happening around the same time that in some ways, like I don't believe in regrets, but one of the things I wish I could have grabbed onto more at that time of my life was that I just thought this is all just happening the way it's supposed to. Like we write cool songs too.
Right. And
we're going to get a big record deal, and we're going to do just like our buddies are doing and all this stuff. And then it started happening.
Yeah.
But I feel like I didn't really appreciate it as much as I could have just because it didn't feel like something just totally miraculous was happening, even though it really was. The chances of you getting a big record deal or whatever as a band is a big deal.
Dream for everybody.
Yeah, it's like, whatever, playing in the NFL or doing any of that.
Totally.
But if you're just surrounded by guys that are all getting drafted and all whatever, you're still excited about it, but it's becomes a little bit more normal. And I think it was not till a little bit later down the road that I realized how not normal that was. Yeah. And obviously have 1,000 times more appreciation for it now.
Yeah, of course you do. Well, you're living in it then. You're young. I mean, come on. You're 18, 19, 20 years old.
Absolutely.
Come on, man. That's a lot to handle at a young age. And as we all know, a lot of people crash and burn in the industry, right? In the entertainment industry for whatever reason.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me how Puddle of Mudd came about. Listen, man, I'm telling you, my wife and I were talking about it. We're like, man, Puddle of Mudd, we used to have such a great, just high, powerful, good music, fun. Tell us about Puddle of Mudd, man. How'd that come together?
The truth of Puddle, man, is, it's Wes's baby. It really is.
Yeah.
Wes is a really talented guy and had some really great songs. It's like almost reminds me of how Dave Grohl talks about being in Nirvana or something.
Yeah, sure.
It was like, it's like, hey man, I'm a songwriter. I'm a like all this stuff too. But it's like when you're playing with a guy who, like, he writes great songs and he is like already kind of doing it. It's like you just kind of hold on and ride. You know what I mean? That's all you can really do because he was already writing those hit songs. He was already writing those blurries and
was he really?
Those kind of things.
Blurry, great.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that I've got to give credit to my buddy Brad Stewart.
Okay.
Actually, was going to be the bass player in Puddle.
Okay.
And he ended up being in Shinedown and Fuel. He played in some bands with me. He's played in some iterations of Burn Season, whatever. Yeah. Amazing dude. He still plays in Saliva to this day.
Okay.
But he co-wrote Control.
Oh, did he?
The
Smack My Ass.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. So.
Are you guys got big fraternity?
What's that?
You guys, like all you musicians, like
absolutely.
Big fraternity?
Absolutely.
I mean, it seems like y'all work together somehow with different bands.
It's a very incestuous business for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You think about it when you get these tour families. You know what I mean? Like when you tour with bands and you're doing all this stuff or whatever. Yeah. Then if you need somebody to play in your band, well, you gonna like go hold open auditions, or are you gonna be like, hey, I want to get my buddy hey, you want to come jam with us?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't need you to audition. I just need you to come jam with us.
Come and jam. We love you, and we're gonna have a great time doing it.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it works in a lot of ways, especially for bands that I don't know. They kind of call them these days like legacy bands, like bands that have been around for a while and have had, had success and stuff.
I saw where Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Dr. Dre, all early influences. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Dude, you know, those are like three of my favorite. Like
No
Guns
way.
N' Roses. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I met Slash once in Vegas. True
Nice.
story. It took me 15 minutes to get up to Nerve. I've never been afraid to go up to anybody. It took me 15 minutes. Finally, my buddy said, come on, you got to go say, you're playing in the NFL. Just tell him you play in the NFL. I'm like, all right, screw it. Let's go say hi to him. He was the nicest. He don't remember shit, but he was the nicest guy,
Yeah.
man. That was like seeing him. I grow up with that stuff, man.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like a lot of your fans, they grow up with it. It's part of their fabric, you know. And when you listen to these songs, I tell you what, I get a kick of. I have 3 daughters, and my youngest, all of them, but my youngest, especially 16, she listens to all that old stuff, and
That's
you're like,
killer.
that's cool. You
That
know what I
is,
mean?
man.
That makes you, and it's got to make you feel good with your kids if they're listening to your old stuff. That's gonna be pretty awesome.
I think I guess the biggest compliment of all of that stuff to me is that you realize, I don't know, you're a part of the soundtrack of somebody's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
They remember you as a part of this time, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I think that's cool. Obviously I had all those moments growing up with the bands that I loved and all that stuff too. And it's special to, have even a little sliver of that in somebody's life, you know?
Okay, so after Puddle was over, what I know you got into composing and all that. Was there another band? Was there more? I know you did you say like you had a shot with STP maybe? Like
Yeah.
still, I mean,
actually,
that's still in your blood. Like that's never gonna leave you.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of a funny thing because STP did this thing. We're gonna find a new singer,
Right.
and they were
Scott
listening to
Wiley.
guys. They're doing. Yeah, Scott had passed away, which God rest his soul.
Yeah, no
One
doubt.
of most amazing geniuses and frontmen.
Did you ever get a chance to?
I met him one time. Unfortunately, it was not in some of his best times.
Yeah,
But
sure.
But yeah, I did get to meet him before.
What do you think it is? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No
What do
problem.
you think it's the fame? Like handling the fame, like thinking you're just, like what happens? I mean, there's addictions and there's stuff. But,
Some of those guys, man, I just feel are a little bit of kind of tortured souls, man.
Okay, from the get go almost.
Well, kind of, yeah. And then you get fame and drugs and the feeling that the only reason why people want to talk to you or be around you is because they want something from you or they whatever. And, and it just makes you feel isolated. It makes you feel like
you
whatever.
can't go anywhere, can't have normal conversations, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
so I feel like that isolation, drugs,
Yeah.
probably some mental illness on some level, which
Sure,
probably comes from
sure.
the drugs too.
Yeah.
And it all compounds together and unfortunately
sad,
ruins amazingly awesome creative people.
Yeah, I saw where the kid from New Direction recently passed. Liam.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He fell off a balcony or something. I mean, just tragic. That's got to be tough, man. I mean, and look, you kind of need to have that edge, I would imagine, depending on what. If you're a lead singer, you're a frontman, you got to have a little bit of an edge to you, I would imagine. But it's sad when it gets too far. All right, talk about the composing, brother. How'd you get into that? You always been a songwriter.
Well, first let me give you a little brief part of the STP thing.
Oh, right, yeah,
Just 'cause
sorry. I got ATD.
It's all good.
CTE, ATD,
Me too,
all that
brother.
stuff, yeah.
No, I just wanted to, because it's funny.
Yeah.
So, Matt Penfield, once again,
Yep.
I mean, one of my closest friends,
Cool.
he's the one who hit me up and said, hey, man, he goes, why are you not doing something for this STP thing? He's like, you really, you'd be great for it. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be great for freaking whatever, Led Zeppelin or whatever. That sounds great, but like, come on, man. Like, what? I don't, I got a lot going on. Like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And then, so I don't do anything. He hits me up again. Dude, I'm telling you should do this thing, whatever, do a video, do something, whatever.
Yeah.
Short story long, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go up here, go to my studio, I'm just gonna record a video of me singing a few songs.
Cool.
And I'm gonna send it to him. And so I send him this video, just basically saying like, hey man, what do you think? Let me know. Like, wrong songs, too short, too fast, too whatever, like something, whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, oh man, it's great. I sent it to Dean, who's the guitar player. And I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, that wasn't like some final
right,
thing.
it's
Like,
like
I was just giving you like something to whatever.
Yeah.
Dean calls Matt on the phone and was like, dude, I love this guy, whatever. Yeah, man, give me his number, whatever. So months and months go by. I stopped thinking about it. I'm like, whatever. I think it's killer that Dean even liked my voice.
Hell
That's
yeah.
enough for me.
Yeah.
They ended up reaching out. I went out and jammed with them, hung out with them, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, those guys are amazing. They're such a great band.
Yeah.
So tight, timeless songs. I mean, just to even be on a stage in a proper rehearsal room and play. And
can't imagine.
I still say to this day, man, one of the craziest moments in my life doing music was singing Dead and Bloated and having that band kick in behind me.
Yeah.
God, that was just amazing. Yeah.
That had to be amazing, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
euphoric.
really cool.
Like, you can't put that into words, can you?
Yeah.
I mean, can you?
No.
It's kick-ass.
No, it was
it's
so
awesome.
amazing, man. Yeah.
It's the best. The best thing in the world, like you
Yeah.
said earlier, right?
Yeah.
That is cool.
It was killer.
Okay, so then were you already into composing at that time? Like, how did that that party? What's it called? Give
to Get Music.
Give to Get Music, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So while I was out with Puddle still, I met the director of music for ESPN at a bar. Started talking about kids and things and whatever, and randomly he tells me, he's like, I've got a gig for you. I was like, hey man, I'll pay you X amount, and I just need like 10 pieces of music in the form of AC/DC meets Guns N' Roses meets blah blah meets whatever. No vocals, just music. I'm like, you okay? Sounds good.
Yeah. Here you go.
And that was literally my first gig. And then after that, I was just kind of, that's the whole thing too. From traveling, playing ball, and all that stuff or whatever. All that's a lot of fun if you're single and you're whatever.
Yeah,
but
right.
traveling, being gone 10 months out of the year when you have kids and stuff like that, that's where it starts wearing off. So honestly, I was looking for kind of an exit strategy.
Yeah, cool.
And so that was what it was.
Keeps you in the game.
I started the company doing that, and I mean, God, I've done over 100 TV shows, movies, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, any favorites that you could name that you got to work on, or any favorite sets or people that
man,
were...
there was so many.
Yeah.
I'll say the most surprising one was Bar Rescue.
Oh yeah,
Bar Rescue
sure.
was on Spike originally.
Okay.
And kind of no one
Spike
really
TV.
knew what it was.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have some big budget. They didn't have whatever.
Yeah.
They were kind of figuring it out. And then, I mean, God, that show is just blown up.
No doubt.
Now there's, I don't know how many seasons. It's syndicated all over the world. You know what I mean? It ended up being this big show. It was kind of like a sleeper hit. You know what I mean? Like nobody thought it was going to be some hit show.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of.
So you're playing like the intro and that in and out of commercial breaks and just background music and stuff like that.
You basically build like a template for the editors to pick
cool.
from, and then you build libraries of music for those different sections and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But it's fun, man. You get to help design the sound of a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
which,
absolutely.
Which is great. Kind of
keeps your creative juices flowing.
Yeah, well,
right?
it kind of goes back to that same thing we were saying earlier about a song making people feel something.
Yeah.
That's one thing that a lot of people sometimes do these things at like a college or something, talking to composers and people or whatever, and it's the big thing that a lot of people just don't realize is that the music and TV and film is what tells you how to feel.
Yeah.
And I actually did this thing one time where I took this scene from a movie that I had done.
Yeah.
And it was just this panning shot of this family sitting at the table, and it's just panning, showing everybody at the table real slow.
Wow.
And then I scored it 3 different ways. One made you feel like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then one made you feel like, is this guy gonna kill his family? Like, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? But the music basically is what's telling you how to feel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Same visual.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah. So that's one of the funnest things to me is just creating stuff like that.
What's your, do you have a favorite concert you performed at, or a festival, or anything that was just out of this world massive for you? Anything come to mind?
I would say Summerfest, Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Yeah,
It's
heck yeah.
One of those.
I'm from Chicago, so I remember hearing about
like
Summerfest.
70, 80, 90,000, I don't know how many tens of thousands of people were there.
Yeah.
One year we played, it was like the whole stage was like this Harley stage, and it had like the bikes were like built into the stage, and like all these tiers around it, and it was it was a big one. It was a lot of fun, man. Because there's a lot of times too when you're playing those big places, sometimes it feels really disconnected.
Does it?
Yeah, and then
really?
there's sometimes when.
How nervous are you? that big of a crowd. Are you even
I
nervous
think,
at all?
I think I get excited more than I get
Oh,
nervous.
yeah, okay.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just.
Big crowd, man. It's.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like I'm 13 years old, man. You know what I mean? I get
That's
so
the
excited, like,
best.
yes.
You're right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just fun. So,
Yeah.
So, you know, usually it's not, the only thing that would make me nervous would be like, if we knew that we had technical difficulties or we had things
Right, the
that.
sound.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're like, oh,
yeah.
God. And they're like, hey, man, just so you know, if your wireless goes out, it's like,
Yeah.
thank you for telling me that, right? I'm walking on stage in front of 10,000 people or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? But, you know, you get through it and, you know, go up there and be a pro. That's what.
All right, we had Dad Bods, this cover band I'm in. We had rehearsal
that's
last
awesome.
night. What's it like? You know, like Puddle of Mudd's rehearsing. Arguments? You know, like things get like I want this or I need this or I want to sound like that or is it pretty much a collaborative? Everything we just figure it out as we go.
I mean, honestly, Puddle was not very big on rehearsing. I mean, Puddle was more. You know,
performing?
Yeah, well, I mean, we go to sound check, and I mean, it's one thing if you're like writing a new song or you're doing something like that, but if you're getting ready for a show or whatever, it's like, we know all these songs, we played all these songs, so you know, we'll go to sound check, jam them, you know, a couple times through or whatever, and unless we're like, you know, putting something in that hadn't been played in a long time or something like that, I mean, it's you know, it's not that same thing as, you know, being in burn season when I was, 16, and we're just rehearsing all the time just because we'd rather be doing this than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, after, you know, you get older and all the other stuff starts coming around, you know what I mean? That's the part that, I don't know, it sucks a little bit that, like, you know, bands lose that us just being kids and let's just hang out and jam, you know, because, you know, because you got families and you got things and everyone's got schedules and whatever. It's like, you know, that's the thing I miss the most is like not having any schedule.
Yeah.
My schedule is this.
Right.
Like, I don't care. We're going to hang out at our band room all day.
Right.
Yeah. And,
you know,
and that,
play and hang out.
Yeah. That was our whole life, you know, was just doing that, you know. So, but yeah, like, I don't know. That's coolest thing about music, man, is, you know, collaborating.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and people digging
it.
And you digging it, and you
connecting with people. Yeah.
I get excited. You know what happens to me? I whack my mouth on the microphone when I get too excited. I don't mean.
I've done it many times, man.
Because you're like that's your first love, singing, right?
Yeah,
For the
that's
most part.
Yeah.
Because you said earlier off camera that when you went from burn season to Puddle, you're like, well, I'm used to singing, but that you're going to play bass for Puddle, right? So that was something you just had to kind of
I had never
let go.
played bass in a band. I mean, I played bass like in the studio and doing all this stuff or whatever, but I'd never played bass in a band prior to being in Puddle. So that was, you know, it was a little different, but it was awesome. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And
it worked out.
And I still got to, you know, sing a lot too, which was cool. Obviously not lead, but yeah. It was,
do you sing now at all?
Oh, yeah.
All
I still
the time?
sing. Yeah, I mean, I sing in the studio.
Do you?
I still write songs for movies and, you know, TV and stuff like
what
that.
Would
I
be,
still produce artists.
Oh, you're, what did I see, Daughtry and Avril Lavigne? Like, you worked with them?
Yeah, I've worked with a bunch of different people over the years. Everyone from, I mean, whatever, like guys, I kind of got into this whole hip hop thing. Yeah, Brett Myers is the one who, I remember when him and I kind of reconnected a lot of years ago.
Sure.
He was like, you don't know about hip hop? And I'm like, hip hop? Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Started playing me like, you know, Colt Ford and the Lax and all these different guys, and I was like, okay, well, I could dig this, and then I ended up working with all those guys. You know what I mean? So just
cool.
More on the producer side. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
If you could pick your favorite cover song to sing, not your own song, but a cover song, what? Give me one. It doesn't have to be your favorite. Like, but what do you really like singing? If it wasn't your own stuff.
If you threw me on a karaoke stage right now, and
you're on a
said,
karaoke stage,
you gotta sing. Honestly, I'd probably sing "Hard to Handle."
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I think I'd probably sing Black Crowes, "Hard to Handle."
They were great.
Oh yeah.
Seeing things.
Well, my only thing is I always think it's.
I love that song.
I don't know, it's just boring when somebody goes up and sings karaoke and they just sing like a super like mellow song. You're like,
right.
even if they kill it, you're like,
Yeah. Right. Right.
Like, you go there and sing Wonderwall. It's like, I mean,
No,
come on,
right.
man. It's a great song. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
So that's try to something a little more snappy.
Would it be too much to ask you to just start Dead and Bloated? Like, could I hear a little bit of it from you?
Me?
Or is that too much? Yeah. You know?
Goodness.
You know, I am smelling like a rose. Right? Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah, I am smelling like a rose that somebody gave me on my birthday deathbed. And I am smelling like a rose that somebody gave me 'cause I'm dead and bloated.
Boom, boom, boom.
That's it.
That's great,
it.
dude. That was awesome.
Yeah,
man, you're
man.
fantastic.
Oh,
you got to
thanks,
keep
man.
that singing up, brother.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah, I remember something my wife said to me. This was back when we were first, getting together or whatever, and, the whole music industry was falling apart and everyone was dropping all the bands and all the labels were merging and all this stuff. And she goes, wait, so you're telling me that this is the worst time, like, in the history of music? She's like, why are you choosing to be a musician? And I remember, like, without even a second thought, I said, I'm not choosing it. Like, I am a musician.
Yeah, you are.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm not choosing this. It's like, this is who I am. This is what I do. Like, that kind of thing. So, so that was kind of, just, I don't know. It's just been a part of me for so long that it, it.
Well, what's cool about it too, Dan. I mean, you started young, you had all the success. I mean, you've done the whole rock and roll band success. Those guys are tough guys. Did you know that? If you go fast in a car, it means you're really tough. But then you've also transitioned into the well, you've always been a writer, but you're still involved. So that's fantastic. And I know you're also not only a family member, you're a businessman. Talk about World Construction. When you came onto the horse's mouth, it was all about World Construction. Just tell us about that a little bit. Now you got into that.
Really, how it all kind of came together with that was it was during the pandemic.
Okay.
It was the first time ever in my life that I actually even had any time to do anything.
Okay.
And almost all of our projects for the TV film stuff was on hold. Nobody's filming. Nobody's doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I grew up around construction also. I mean, it's like I always said, only two things I know is construction and music.
Wow.
If you want me to work on your car, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Not a mechanic.
I don't really know anything else, but that's it.
Yeah.
Construction and the music thing. So, that's during that time, I basically was studying for my GC.
Okay.
And my
Smart guy, man.
my father-in-law has been a GC for a long time.
Yep.
And I'd called him honestly just for some advice.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. He's like, Damien, he's like, don't start another company. He goes, that would be silly. He goes, a lot of the stuff you want to bid on and do whatever, you're not even going to be able to bid on it.
Right.
He's like, so basically he's like, why don't we work something out?
Okay.
You can kind of, buy me out, if you will. And so I took over, and now we have a company that, literally turned 30 this year.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, last year we got the Jacksonville Business Journal's one of the best places to work. This year we got number 4 in the Fast 50, which was a great honor.
Yep.
Fourth fastest growing company in North Florida. So, obviously all that's a great honor, and it's just I don't know, man. I just like
accomplishing
I like
things.
I like building things and also having doing good behind it too, like doing a good job for people, building teams and all that kind of stuff, man. I just love it. So
what'd you take from your music career into the construction? Any parallel or anything that you would say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things about business have similarities.
Yep.
A lot of it is, just, I don't know, man. Just, I say that I've built my entire career off of just trying to be good to people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
and that's why I've continued to be able to do so many different things, is that I would venture to say you'd be hard pressed to find somebody to say something you know, like bad. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like
And
that
you
guy's,
take pride in that.
Yeah, that guy's
Yeah,
a dickhead.
yeah.
It's like,
right. Yeah.
I try to be great to everybody.
That's
you know what I
right.
mean? And
that's the way
because
to
you
be.
never know who you're talking to, and
Yeah.
it's just the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
the more that we've concentrated on that, whether it be in the music stuff or in the construction stuff, you know,
Yeah.
it just ties together, and just, you know, you do right by people, and you know, it's funny how
And life will do right by you.
things will come your way.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, some say it's called God's favor, Damien.
Oh, 100% it's God's favor. I wouldn't
doubt.
have anything without that.
Absolutely.
That is a fact.
All right, as we wrap up,
Yeah.
a lot of musicians would like to know if you have any advice for the young musicians that are hoping to maybe, you know, do what you did or get close to doing what you did. What would you say to them, Dave?
I would say concentrate on developing your craft. You know, like I said earlier, it is a learned skill.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's something that you get better and better at.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you write 1,000 songs, I bet you there's going to be some of those in there that are really, really good.
Right.
You know, but I feel like sometimes people give up too early.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like if you want to be a football player, you can't go, like,
Yep.
play 3 seasons of Pop Warner and think you're going to
That's
take
right.
over the world. You know,
Yep.
tenacity, dig
Yep.
into it. So if you want that to be your life, you
Yep.
know, and
You got to work on your craft.
yeah, work
right?
on the craft and
Yep.
and
Yep.
try to be multifaceted, learn as much as you can,
Yep.
and do as many genres as you can, and yeah, that's it. Just try not to be a one-trick pony.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learn all the instruments, right?
Yeah.
How many instruments can you play, by the way?
Oh man,
Like a
I
ton
don't really
of them.
know. Yeah, I play bass, drums, guitar, piano, a little violin.
Cool.
Yeah, I got into getting into the composing thing. You know,
Yeah.
had to really, you know, broaden my horizons
Yeah,
and
yeah,
doing
yeah.
orchestral stuff and doing all that. So yeah, I
That's
played a
so
lot of
cool.
play a lot of instruments.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you being on Riding Shotgun,
Dude,
dude.
I'm
That was so
glad
fun.
that
And you,
that I was
that
able to hook up with
bloated
you.
was insane. Insane. Great. I want to take you to like karaoke. Just be like, yeah, it's my friend Damien, and
Let's go.
He's gonna do some singing tonight, man.
Let's go,
Little
baby.
Open mic night somewhere, you know.
Anytime.
All right, that'd be
I'd
fun.
love to, man.
All right, dude. Thanks so much. All right, that's going to
Yeah.
do it for us right here on Riding Shotgun. Of course, want to thank Damien Starky. Want to thank my great crew at Iconic Productions, and want to thank Fields Cadillac, Jacksonville, Fields Cadillac, St. Augustine. I know you shop here. The car we are driving,
Yep.
by the way, this beautiful Escalade, Damien and his wife have one at home. So he showed me how to ride this thing and do it all, and it's absolutely fantastic. Make sure you check out
Yeah,
Fields
absolutely.
Cadillac. All right, till next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on Riding Shotgun with Tommy Mac. All right. Good job, bro.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Did you have fun?
Oh,
yeah, that
absolutely.
was cool. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was a blast.
You know, it's funny. Like, so I always like you know, music does to everybody. What it gets you thinking and creatively, and then like for the dad bots. You know what I really want out of the dad bots, the cover band. I want to play in front of the military.
Yeah,
That's
because
like
USO.
USO.
Like USO.
Yeah, I just want to go on to, like, if I
My-
could ever go on that tour, whatever. Just even if it was one
my
time.
wife, I would love that.